Can Arvind Kejriwal really run a government from jail? Is jail as Chief Minister's office practical or untenable? Is Mr Kejriwal trying to play a sympathy card and will it work? Joining me now, Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. Jasmine Shah is AAP spokesperson and Shehzad Poonawala is the BJP spokesperson. Appreciate all of you joining us. To you, Mr Poonawala, first. You heard possibly what Saurabh Bhardwaj says. He claimed the BJP is trying to trap AAP by saying the Chief Minister must resign. There is nothing in the law, according to Mr Bhardwaj, that the Chief Minister has to resign. Your response?
Rajdeep, thank you for having me on the panel. And since the panel has Aam Aadmi Party, it has Sanjay Hegde, whose disposition is well known, and me, and you've also given Saurabh Bhardwaj ample time. Please let me make my opening statement, which is predicated on three elements: moral argument, obvious argument, and legal argument. I will answer all the questions and then you can interrupt or you can ask me the next question. First, on the moral point, which will answer Saurabh's question. Was Saurabh Bhardwaj in his earlier avatar as India Against Corruption trying to trap Lalu, Mulayam, Sonia, Rahul when they used to demand the resignations at drop of a hat? When they used to be in their earlier avatar under Anna Hazare, now obviously they've changed and they've gone to Lalu's side. At that time they used to say कि पहले इस्तीफा फिर जांच. And in today's case, they say no istifa, no janch, 9 summons may come. Court is not giving us remand on the basis of evidence, Supreme Court, High Court, Lower Court at all. Even then we will say we are Kattar Imandar and we will run our Sarkar from jail, just like Pablo Escobar of Delhi, that they want to run their operations from jail. Now let me come to the more obvious argument and then go to the legal argument. The obvious argument is that if this was such a tenable system, why did you take resignation of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain? If this is such a tenable system, are you saying that a Pada-likha party with 62 MLAs can find no other person in the 62 except Mr Kejriwal? The other obvious argument is that Mr Kejriwal, who is in jail, who has very limited access to files, has very limited access to newspapers and media, knows what is happening in the departments of Atishi and Saurabh, and he is departmentless minister. He is departmentless person who has not signed any document till date. He knows what is happening outside in these departments and is giving Adesh what to do. But Saurabh and Atishi are incompetent to the extent that they don't know what is happening while being outside. So they must be sacked immediately on the obvious front. And now let me come to the legal argument, Rajdeep. And this is the most important. Rajdeep, before coming to your show, as you know, I gather all my facts. There is an RTI manual which has been put out from many years of Delhi government's functioning. That RTI manual describes how the Delhi government, from chief minister to minister, how it operates. Let me quote one line to you. The receipt and dispatch of files and letters will take place through letter monitoring system. This is, anybody can go and Google it, I'm not lying. Secondly, Delhi government works under Transaction of Business Rules GNTCD 1993. Section 15 and other sections read together say as follows, that everything that takes place between two ministries or ministry and chief minister happens through written standing orders with copies to be maintained by that ministry. Please keep these 2 points in mind. And third point in mind, which is the quotation of PDT Achari, somebody you swear by, Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, on 26th of March in the Hindustan Times. He says, and I agree with him legally, while the chief minister has the freedom to continue as chief minister, I quote unquote, he has to do everything with the permission of the court, which means receiving files or signing files or giving any instructions. Now please keep these things in mind and give me the answers to the following question. Question number 1. When Atishi came on first day and issued this Chief Minister's office note, I as the BJP want to know that when did Mr Kejriwal sign a written order as required by the law, RTI Act which I have told you and the Tobro Act? When did he sign it and which officer did he give it to in the CMO, who in turn issued this note? Name of that officer, time of the issuance of this note. Secondly, why does this note of the CMO not have a date, not have the required reference number, which is a must in government documentation, and the sign of the chief minister? Now today Saurabh has said, and quote unquote, it was played on your Aaj Tak and India Today, he said, I have been instructed by chief minister to do whatever in the health department. How was this instruction given? Was it A, in writing, or was it verbal? If it was verbal, when did Saurabh Bhardwaj meet the Honorable Chief Minister inside the custody? Because as far as I know, he has not gone and personally met him. So was it communicated verbally through Chief Minister's wife, Honorable Sunita ji, or through the lawyer, which is a violation because you cannot communicate through these outside
Mr. Poonawala,
persons. It is
made
absolutely not contemplated in the Constitution. Finally, just 10 seconds more, 10 seconds more, and I'll complete. Therefore, the question that the BJP is asking, I am happy to answer even the Sharad Reddy part of it in the end if you give me the time.
We'll come to that.
But the most important question is that today I am a resident of Delhi. We'll come to that in detail. I am a resident of Delhi. You are a resident of Delhi. Should you not know whether the CMO is working as per the rules and constitution, or is some person like Sunita ji, she is not constitutional post holder, giving the instructions to CMO that issue this note, issue that note? Is it the lawyer of Mr. Kejriwal saying issue this note, issue that note? Which non-constitutional entity is doing this? Which non-bureaucratic statutory entity is doing this?
I've listened to you very carefully.
Specific answers should be given.
Okay, Mr. Poonawala, as you can see, I did not interrupt you because I think you showed me the courtesy also of answering the specific question without any personal jibes, and I really appreciate that. This is the way to conduct a debate. I want, therefore, you, Jasmine Shah, very specific charges have been made by Shehzad Poonawala. And I think any citizen will ask that. How is the Chief Minister issuing letters and orders to his ministers who are not in communication with him? Whether it is Saurabh Bhardwaj or Atishi, according to Shehzad Poonawala, he wants to know how are these orders being issued, and he alludes to the fact, he claims virtually that the Chief Minister's wife is the one who may be issuing these orders. That's his claim. But the charge is that specific orders are being issued from custody without even the ministers meeting the Chief Minister. So are these forged? Is this all drama? Your response?
Rajdeep, first and foremost, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is under a constitutional oath to serve the people of Delhi unless and until he leaves office. We are seeing today scenes in the national capital which are unprecedented in Indian history, that a sitting chief minister in a completely fake case which has been going on for 2 years, the investigation for which is going on for 2 years, no evidence, no money recovery, no money trail to Aam Aadmi Party. Now we find 60 crores of money trail to BJP, but what happens? It is a sitting chief minister who gets arrested. Now, is he barred by the constitution from functioning as a chief minister? Absolutely not. Which means he is obligated by the constitution to serve the constituents of Delhi, the people of Delhi.
Mr. Jasmine Shah, he's not legally barred, but I'm asking you specifically to the charge that Shehzad Poonawala is making, that all these orders are fictitious, that there was no connection that Atishi or Saurabh Bhardwaj had with the chief minister. These orders are all being created, manufactured.
So this is precisely what Shehzad is expected to say. You know, he is a BJP spokesperson. I can say that these are genuine orders. The chief minister is concerned about the people of Delhi and he is doing the job which he is elected to do. Now, is the chief minister obligated to say how he passes communication to his minister? No.
No, I'm asking you, how is communication being passed by someone in ED custody?
I will only say this, Rajdeep. Rajdeep, I will only say this, that he is not obligated to reveal how he is communicating to his ministers on broad domain. If the courts were to ask him, we will certainly say that he is doing his job. There are no huge decisions being taken. What are the questions he is asked? He has heard that medicines are not there in some of the hospitals. So इनके हिसाब से ये गुनाह हो जाता है कि the sitting chief minister of Delhi, why is he not quitting? Which means their entire ploy, Rajdeep, was arrest Mr. Kejriwal because you cannot defeat him electorally. You know, in the Lok Sabha election, the huge momentum is in the favor of India Alliance, and therefore what do? You arrest him in the middle of the night, no money trail, no evidence, nothing, but now you start demanding कि इनको resign करवाओ. So this shows that the entire ploy from the beginning was to politically attack Mr. Kejriwal. And now I will state the most obvious question, because he has taken a lot of time to ask some questions. I think the most important question in the people of the minds of not just the people of Delhi but the entire country are twofold, Rajdeep. Under what law, under what precedents has the Prime Minister of India imprisoned a sitting Chief Minister in a case where there is no evidence, no money trail, 2 years of investigation, 500 of raids? Second, you know, on a matter where you have not found any money trail leading to AAP, but suddenly this Sarath Chandra Reddy's electoral bond data, which has just come in the public domain 3 days back, he was called the kingpin by the Enforcement Directorate in the same scam. He gets arrested by ED and then he gives 55 crores to BJP after the arrest. Now, the money trail in this case is linking to the BJP. So why is it that ED is not showing up on the doorsteps of BJP? This precisely proves our point that what you're seeing today is blatant injustice. It's not just Mr. Kejriwal. Mr. Sisodia, remember, is in jail for a year without trial. These are political prisoners. And not just India, the entire world is taking notice of how democracy is being decimated in front of our eyes.
I'm going to give you a little less time that I gave Shehzad only because I earlier gave Saurabh Bharadwaj. So I want to be fair with everyone. Sanjay Hegde, you're listening to both these sides. I want to understand first clarity on the legal position. The clarity I want on the legal, is it very clear that Mr. Kejriwal can run this government from jail? Because it has never happened in the history of the country. As I said, Sukhram was a minister, a chief minister. Can he run the government? And can, importantly, the LG now intervene and say, this is not a tenable arrangement, I am taking over?
We are in uncharted territory. But we have had precedents before where chief ministers were incapacitated, medically incapacitated. You had both M.G. Ramachandran and Jayalalitha running the administration from the hospital beds when they were barely sentient. The system takes care of a lot of things, and it is not as if somebody in prison is totally deprived of his usual business. In the Sahara case, the Sahara Shri ran a business from jail where he was allowed to liquidate assets.
No, but are we comparing a corporate to are we comparing a corporate to a chief minister of a state, Mr. Hegde?
Well, let me put it this way. Justice Krishna Iyer once said that the fundamental rights do not part company at the prison gates. Because a man is in jail, and if there are certain functions which can be done or need his attention, it's always open to the courts to permit it, or even the prison authorities. Just for your information, there was a former Prime Minister, Narasimha Rao. When he had to go into prison, a specific area was a government guest house was designated as a prison. So prison manuals do not make the constitution, right?
Yes, but Narasimha Rao did not run his government. But with the, let me tell Narasimha Rao did not run his government from there, Mr. Hegde.
I'm just giving you an example. The first thing is that what we have to look for is the Constitution. The Constitution does not have a disqualification.
Okay.
If a disqualification has to come in, it has to come in through Parliament, in my view, simply because otherwise the precedent would be that any investigating officer who decides he wants to arrest a sitting chief minister, or maybe one day the prime minister, will then be able to run roughshod over elected officials. We are not a police state yet.
We are not a police state yet, and your emphasis, I know, is on the word yet. But Shehzad Poonawala, you're hearing what is being said, particularly about the manner in which AAP is claiming this has been fixed. They're using electoral bonds. The fact that Sarath Reddy, who turned approver, his company gave a large amounts of money to the BJP, is being used. This is all a fixed match. And as Sanjay Hegde is pointing out, tomorrow, therefore, with the Enforcement Directorate having the powers that they have, they can arrest any chief minister of the opposition and bring the constitutional system to a halt. That is the fear the opposition has. Your response?
I heard Sanjay and I heard Jasmine very patiently without a single interruption. And since you've asked me the Sharath Reddy question again, I want to address that in 30 seconds, but also make the remaining counters. So I hope you'll give me adequate time for both of these things. But I want to, unlike Jasmine, not prevaricate on your question, answer that first. Yes. Sharath Reddy is not the only basis on which this case rests. If you see the remand which was demanded by ED, on which remand was granted, ED has said that the basis of this is not just statement of Sharath Reddy but documentary evidence, and in fact statements of the vendors that the people of Aam Aadmi Party hired in Goa to whom the money went. Apart from that, Sharath Reddy has not been made approver by Narendra Modi. He has been allowed to become approver by the courts unless the chanda was going to the court. Also, Rajdeep, the first time that Aurobindo and Sharath are two different entities. Narayan Murthy Infosys, two different entities. Azim Premji Wipro, two different entities. Arun Puri India Today, two different entities. Company,
very
individuals,
specious.
to
No,
different entities. Rajdeep, you've studied law.
That
Now,
argument,
Aurobindo,
Shehzad, that
please.
argument, Shehzad, is a rather specious one. The fact is that
it's-
someone who has turned
it's a
approval,
completely stupid
his
argument.
Let me
company,
answer.
he was a director. Just a
I
minute.
will answer.
Shehzad Poonawala, I
You
asked you
promised
simply
me 2
this.
minutes. You promised me 2
I asked
minutes,
you
but
simply
you've
this,
broken that
Shehzad
promise.
Poonawala. I asked you a question basically. The argument being
I will
made by the
answer.
Aam Aadmi
Do not
Party is that
be
this is a trap.
patient.
Yeah, so now
Be
respond.
patient.
I'm
Be
always patient. Again, we are going back, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Rajdeep, firstly, I'm glad you at least realized, I'm glad that at least you, unlike the Honorable Minister who joined first, you used the right word that he's an approver. Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj went and said star witness, but he was not interrupted. Anyways, star witness is different, approver is different. Now, coming to your question, I am reiterating to you that this is a hogwash. This has been argued before the court, lower court. Tomorrow they will get an opportunity to argue it before High Court. They can make this argument and get the relief if this is the basis, if the case is so flimsy. But the fact of the matter is, here is the Aam Aadmi Party, which says no money trail has been found, but the Supreme Court has spoken of money trail, the High Court has spoken of money trail, the last court which has granted remand has spoken of money trail, yet they get away by peddling a half lie. They say that we will leave this matter to the court, that matter to the court, but then the court is not denying them relief. And even somebody like Sanjay Nirupam says that Mr. Kejriwal should resign. They are still calling it vendetta politics. Now let me come to the larger points which I needed to address, and please give me 20 or 30 seconds for that. Rajdeep, Mr. Jasmine Shah said, and I quote unquote, this is a genuine order. If it is a genuine order, I request through the medium of India today that the first order put out by Aam Aadmi Party government, why it has no date, why it has no sign, why it has no reference number, please tell me who was the signing authority, which court order was taken by Mr. Kejriwal to sign and give it, and to which officer of Chief Minister's office was it given. Secondly, Jasmine Shah says, I am not obligated to tell you how Mr. Kejriwal is issuing these orders. Rajdeep, can you hear this and believe this? This is a party which predicated itself on right to information and transparency, says that how orders are being issued, whether it's under the Cobro Act and whether it's under the designated manner, they will not tell us. Thirdly, just last point, just third point.
Yes, very quickly, yes.
Third point. Rajdeep, I'll finish in 10 seconds. Rajdeep, 10 seconds. Rajdeep, 10 seconds. I will finish.
Jasmine, please wait.
Rajdeep.
Let him finish. No, Jasmine, please let him finish. Yes, finish.
Rajdeep, 10 seconds. Rajdeep, third thing that Mr. Jasmine said very arrogantly, and I'm surprised at the arrogance, is that he said that we will go tell the courts if the courts ask us. Rajdeep, your good friend and somebody we respect, PDT Achari, quote unquote in Hindustan Times has said that if Mr. Kejriwal has to even issue one signature order, he has to take permission of the court. It is not that I will do whatever I want and then go to court. It is first you get the permission from court.
Okay,
even the thing that Mr. Hegde was saying, if Narasimha Rao got whatever area he got it through court.
You made that point, but Jasmine Shah, you must answer this as we conclude the debate. Where are these orders coming from? The specific details. Do you believe that unsigned letters is the way to run a government? Can a chief minister run a government continually like this? Sooner or later, it'll catch up.
Rajdeep, I'll correct myself because, Shehzad has a habit of twisting everything. What I said is that the Chief Minister of Delhi is not obligated to say how does he communicate with his ministers. Obviously, whatever action he's doing under sound legal advice. And we will leave it at that. The more important question today is, rather than these inane questions, ki kahan se sign kiya, kahan se likha, the bigger question today is the threat in front of democracy in India. People, and ever since Mr. Kejriwal has been arrested, people who are hardcore BJP supporters are reaching out to us and saying that this is unprecedented. Yes, we gave Mr. Modi the mandate to run the country, but going and putting all opposition leaders under jail, and in cases where trial doesn't even begin, and for years you are seeing people like Mr. Sisodia under jail, there is anger amongst the people. And that's
there is
what
anger,
going to say on the court.
sympathy, but eventually you will have to answer to the court, or indeed the people of the country. How is the state going to be run if the chief minister is in custody? It's that administrative issue, the practical issues that are important. I'm afraid I've run out of time, Sanjay, today. We'll have many more such days. I'm sure this is not going to end here.